Imagine waking up tomorrow and discovering that you have never actually seen the world directly. Not once. What if everything you experience, color, sound, space, even other people, is not something your brain receives, but something it constructs? This may sound philosophical, but it is one of the most influential theories in modern neuroscience. Let's begin with a simple question. When you look at a tree, what happens first? Light hits your retina. Signals travel through your optic nerve. Electrical impulses move through the brain. But here's the twist. The brain doesn't passively wait for information. According to neuroscientist Karl Friston, the brain is fundamentally a prediction machine. It constantly generates models of the world, and then updates those models based on incoming data. This is called the free energy principle, and it suggests something radical. Perception is not reception. It is controlled hallucination. Anil Seth, a leading neuroscientist at the University of Sussex, puts it this way: we do not perceive the world as it is. We perceive the world as our brain predicts it to be. Let that sink in. Your brain doesn't build reality from scratch in each moment. It predicts what should be there, and only corrects errors. Reality, as you experience it, is a continuous negotiation between expectation and sensory correction. Now let's connect this to quantum thinking. Carefully. In quantum mechanics, particles exist in states of probability until measured. In predictive processing, the brain operates probabilistically until corrected. Both systems operate through potential and collapse. But here's the difference. In quantum physics, collapse refers to measurement in physical systems. In neuroscience, collapse refers to prediction error minimization. The brain constantly asks, what is most likely out there? Then it updates. This means your experience of reality is shaped by prior beliefs, memory, emotion, trauma, desire. All of it informs prediction. Now consider something practical. Two people walk into the same room. One sees threat. One sees opportunity. Same environment. Different prediction models. Different experienced realities. This is not metaphor. It is computational neuroscience. Your brain compresses the world into manageable informational patterns, and what it predicts, it reinforces. Now zoom out. If perception is prediction, then belief is architecture. What you repeatedly expect becomes easier to perceive. Neural pathways strengthen. Alternative interpretations weaken. Over time, perception becomes rigid. This is how identity stabilizes. Not because the world is fixed, but because your predictive model is. Now bring this back to consciousness. If consciousness is not just awareness but predictive modeling, then your sense of self is also a prediction. A continuously updated narrative model. Thomas Metzinger calls this the self-model theory of subjectivity. He argues that the self is not an entity. It is a transparent model. You don't see it as a model. You experience it as reality. Now pause. If your perception is predictive and your identity is predictive, then your lived reality is deeply influenced by informational expectations, not in a mystical sense, in a neurological one. This does not mean you manifest reality magically. It means your brain selects, filters, and interprets data based on internal priors. Prediction shapes perception. Perception shapes action. Action shapes outcome. Outcome reinforces belief. That is a loop. And this loop can be rigid or flexible. In anxiety, predictions become threat-focused. In depression, predictions become negative bias dominant. In love, predictions become reward-weighted. The world feels different because the brain is predicting differently. Now here's the deeper question. If the brain constructs reality through prediction, then what is real? Reality is constrained by physics, but experience is filtered by models. Quantum physics taught us that measurement plays a role in outcome. Neuroscience teaches us that prediction plays a role in perception. Both suggest that observation is not passive. It is participatory. But now the participation is not cosmic. It is cognitive. Your consciousness is not simply receiving reality. It is modeling it. And that has profound implications. Because if your internal model shifts, your experienced world shifts. Not magically, but structurally. When you update beliefs, you update predictions. When you update predictions, you alter perception. When you alter perception, you alter decision-making. When decisions change, trajectories change. This is grounded. This is neural plasticity. And this is why understanding predictive consciousness matters. Because it shows that transformation begins at the level of informational expectation. The universe does not change because you think differently, but your interaction with it does. And interaction shapes outcomes. In our previous episode, we explored the idea of the universe observing itself. Now we explore something equally powerful: your brain observing through prediction. Consciousness may not create the cosmos, but it absolutely constructs the world you live inside. And if that world feels fixed, it may be because your model is. The most radical possibility is not that reality is illusion, it is that your experience of it is probabilistic, structured, and updatable. And perhaps the most empowering insight is this: prediction is not destiny. Models can change. And when models change, perception reorganizes. And when perception reorganizes, life reorganizes. Not because the universe bends, but because interpretation shifts. And interpretation is the gateway to action. Thank you for watching Quantum Life. If this episode expanded your perspective, like, subscribe, and share it with someone ready to rethink perception. Recommended books are in the description. And in Quantum Reset, we explore how identity itself is a dynamic configuration, not a fixed entity. Because if reality is constructed through prediction, then awareness is not passive, it is participation. And participation is power.